Hello everybody, it is me, Briskatoozy, and today we are here talking about that time I got reincarnated as a slime, episode 14. The One Who Devours All, the name of this episode. Wow, it's been a while since slime came out. It's been like a week and then a week since it came out, so it's been a really long time waiting for this, but I just realized that my knowledge of me reading farther ahead in the manga, because I've been buying the volumes, because the volumes are like way ahead of this. I'm just like, man, I don't remember like anything. I don't remember shit. Like I completely forgot that any of this happened. Like especially when Ramiro was like slapping around the masked dude. I don't remember that ever happening. Him like smacking him around because he was like about to kill he was about to kill Gabiru. Like I don't even remember him even attempting to kill Gabiru in the manga. But I guess Ramiro ended up saving him. It's also really funny, like earlier when Ramiro was trying to remember the masked dude, but then the great sage like came in to go and tell Ramiro the facts about what his name was, but then Ramiro was able to say it first, and like for like faster than the great sage. Then the great sage was just like, yeah, that was really funny just seeing him cut her off. And then after that, we saw how the reason why he came in, the reason why the Master Dude came in was to make the Orc Disaster like level up further to become the Demon Lord, and for him to like wreck shit and for him to kill everyone there. But then he was just standing there doing nothing. Like even like when you see like how it's really weird how even though that they eat each other, like all the orcs eat each other, it's really weird how you see like the orc lord having a like supervisor beside him. Like you see like a guy standing right beside him in a cape, and I think there's another guy to his left that's just standing there. So you have two guys that are just leading him around. I guess even though that he's like out of his mind, even though the orc disaster is out of his mind, he's still like kind to his people, I guess, or he still has people like leaders or friends or something, which is really weird to see that. But I guess Gabiru almost lost his friends, that his like stupid like loyalist friends that were with him. But then Ramiro ended up throwing his like splashables on him to make them wake up. And I like how after they were healed, they were like basically like dead. But then after they were healed, they were just chilling on the ground with Gabiru. And you saw that when Ramiro saved Gabiru, Gabiru's eyes were lighting up. So you could see that he's going to become a Ramiro loyalist because of how thankfully he is. At least Ramiro didn't say who he was yet. I guess he's gonna tell him in the future. But I guess none of the other characters really had like any like things to do at the starting of the episode. They were just standing there, just waiting around, seeing it happen. They saw that when the mask guy came in to try to get the Orc Lord to do stuff, he was just kept on like asking him to like do stuff, and he was calling him useless and stupid and stuff like that. And then the only way to get him to listen was to call him his name, since he did name him, which is really weird. How after he got named, he was like he listened to the commands, but then after he got stronger and stronger and became like a mindless tall beast, he didn't do anything. And then he ended up not liking Ramiro beating him up, so then he asked Geld to finish off Ramiro, but then as he listened to his command, he chopped off the mask guy's head right off. Like even me, I'm just like wow. And then Ramiro's just like wow. I like how the Great Sage came in to help Ramiro again and told him, wow, was just like, Galmad's life signs are dead. He's like, I can see that. Like, the Great Sage isn't being any help unless the Great Sage actually states facts to Ramiro that Ramiro doesn't know. But she keeps on trying to do simple facts that Ramiro already notices, unless Ramiro is being like a listless or something like that. So I guess really weird. It is. It's also really weird how him just eating Gelmid. I think I do remember that happening in the manga. It really is how him eating him makes him turn into the Orc Disaster. And like it was really weird how when he bent over to eat him, he heard like cracking. He's like half tree, like you heard like tree branches and stuff like that. Like I don't remember any of that. Like his design is really weird. Like he looks all bony and birchy. Like I have no idea where this half tree is. But then his tree back turned into a cape after he transformed, which is odd to me, but he does look cool. But even though his design didn't really change that much, and I don't remember, like I think his blade changed. Maybe his blade's still the same, but it was really weird how it changed. It really weird. It's also really weird how he went from being like a mindless like slaughterhouse monster to like being like slightly intelligent. And then Ramiro said that he actually has to fight him now, because I like how he finally takes responsibility to do it. Like before, he's just like, do I have to? I guess I'll do it because you guys are telling me to do it. I don't really want to be in this situation, but all of you guys are putting me in this situation, so I guess I'll need to do it. So then he's finally going to like destroy the Orc Disaster because it's gonna be a problem to the forest since he has his village in the forest. So I guess that's all that's going to happen. But those are my overall thoughts for the first 9 minutes of this episode, because it's only been 9 minutes, because that's where the mid credit scene came in. So I guess I'll try to review the 13 minutes of the rest of this episode. I guess another thing that I was going to state before I end this is that it's really weird how the opening is still it's really weird how we still have the same opening since the beginning. Like usually when the series is 24 episodes, they usually change the opening by episode 13 or 14. Maybe they might change it in episode 15. But I guess it is a good opening, so it is cool that's still here. But yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes to review the rest of this. A little bit of an interjection right here where I've only watched 9 minutes to 15 minutes, almost 16 minutes. So we saw how Benimaru, Soe, Hakuro, and Shion came in and tried to defeat the new orc disaster. They all came in. Shion came in flying with their sword. Couldn't really fight against his sword because his sword was a little bit stronger and he was stronger. And then we saw how Hakuro came in, cut off his head. His head fell off, but he ended up having he ended up having slimes come out of his head, grab his head, and put it right back on. Now that was just freaky, especially how whenever when he powered up, it turned into like a Super Saiyan fight. Like whenever when he was yelling and he was powering up, and you saw like green auras coming out of him. Is he Broly now? Like that just reminded me of the Broly movie. Really weird seeing that. It's also really weird how I did notice that he is half birch. Like I have no idea where the birch is coming from. Like I really need to know why he's half birch. If someone can say that, especially having a crystal in his head, why does it? Like, where did the crystal even come from? It was also cool how Soe and Benimaru worked together. Like Soe entangled the orc disaster into like a cocoon, and then Benimaru shot like a flame ball at him, and then he exploded. But then we saw that he only got slightly damaged. Like he's like Saitama from like One Punch Man, saying like, "I can feel this now. We're a worthy opponent." And then we saw how Ranga was only able to get one lightning strike in before he ended up not being able to attack. So then Ramiro decided to like fight him now because he can't have his subordinates losing on him, and he sucked in blasts that apparently I guess because the orc disaster consumed Galments, then he got his abilities because he was able to shoot those red like balls out of nowhere. Then we saw how this is my favorite moment, especially in the manga, seeing the Great Sage take over his body. Like when you see that happen, you're just like, where did that even come from? Like that must have been off screen because like especially in the anime, especially in the manga, it didn't make sense. But seeing it in the anime, did I say manga? Yeah, seeing it in the manga didn't make sense. But seeing it in the anime, you're just like, where did this even come from? Where did this trick up your sleeve come from? So then the Great Sage took over and his eyes turned into like that like weird techno thing. And then he ended up like just coming in and then just slashing all over, and then like using different abilities. He even like like the Great Sage even used Ifrit's abilities, and then was able to like use the fire wave. But then just like other monsters that he fought, the Dork Disaster got fire resistance and it didn't really work, which is funny in itself because you started laughing after that. And then we saw how after the Great Sage got caught by the Orc Disaster in the fire, and then she told Ramir was just like, this is, I need to make some more calculations. I can't defeat the Orc Disaster. Then Ramir was just like, no, you can just leave it up to me now. And then you saw how the Great Sage was shocked again, just like earlier, and then was just like, oh, I guess you can have it now. So then Ramiro took control, and then Ramiro decided to, instead of Orc Disaster consuming everyone, Ramir will just eat him up, because we saw that in the first episode. In the second episode, he can just consume things and then gain their abilities. So I guess he's gonna try to eat the Dork Disaster. But yeah, those are more thoughts for now. So yeah, I'm gonna watch the rest of the episode and tell you my thoughts before the episode ends. Okay, we are back, and I just watched the rest of the episode. Okay, oh, wow. Man, that ending song, they just went back to like the first like few episodes where they didn't even have an ending like animation slash song yet, where they just showed just him bouncing around through different like landscapes and stuff like that, showing like those different clips in the background. So I guess maybe in episode 15 they might have a different opening ending, or maybe a different ending. Maybe they might just go back to the original, but it is going to go into new arcs and stuff like that, so they might do the same opening ending, or maybe they might do a new opening ending. I hope that they have a new opening ending, even though that they are still pretty good. And they do still pretty much show off the seasons, but it would be cool if they changed it. But yeah, we got to see that apparently. I didn't mention this before, but the Orc Disaster's like secretary had like a spotlight where you saw that the secretary slash I guess sort of best friend was always with me even in the past, where he like he was apparently he had his healing ability even before he got named, so he was able to just rip off body parts and heal really quickly. It was really funny how like when he was like powering off that one time, when his arm got ripped off, he like ripped off another piece of his arm because it got burnt off. That burning thing where a part of your body has like I think that even happened in Like that just reminds me of the Amaterasu from Naruto, where like the only way for you to like make the flame go away is if you just keep on cutting. And then he just healed it like Piccolo, just healed up his arm really quickly. So then that was cool. Then you saw how Ramir was gonna win anyways because apparently his Predator skill is a lot powerful than Thor Orc Disaster's Starved, which I guess it is. I guess he does. I guess he does have more than one ability. Like he has Predator, and then he also has the Great Sage. So of course he's gonna win. He's just way too powerful even in his base stats. So him being able to just eat things and gain their abilities, he's just going to keep on getting more powerful. So that all makes sense. But one thing I noticed is that this arc being animated is really cool. Like even though that it does seem like when I'm noticing it, it does seem like as short as the manga, but it is cool seeing it animated and seeing it worked off. Especially how after Ramiro completely ate him and was telling him that he would lose, you saw like them going to that dream sequence. That dream sequence was in the opening song, like when you saw or was it or is that the ending song? That dream sequence is either in the opening or ending. I can't really recall which one. I think it might be the ending song. Yeah, the ending song. Yeah, that dream sequence where they're all in like fields and stuff like that, walking around. So you saw how Ramiro stated to the Orc Disaster after he defeated him that he would devour all of his sins and devour like everything that's wrong with him. And then he said yes. And then you saw him go from his Orc Disaster form back to his original form. And you saw like this desert sweetly turn into like a great forest. And then I guess he was seeing the great forest of Jura finally, instead of seeing like an open wasteland. And then he started crying and then told Ramiro that he feels pleased. And he just went off into the distance like a spirit. And then after that, Ramiro turned into a giant spire and then transformed into his human form again, and then said "Rest in peace" to Geld. And then we saw how that was a very beautiful scene, especially like after he disappeared and everything like that. It was really cool. The animation is still on point, even at episode 14. Like, is this episode ever gonna have bad animation? Like, of course you can pause and see like keyframes in certain spots that might look bad, but when it's in motion, you like barely notice anything. So then, like seeing that, but then we also saw how once everything was over, everyone celebrated, and then you also saw how all of the orcs standed down, which is true. But I guess apparently, was everyone a monster because of Geld, because they were all under the influence of Starve, so maybe they were all crazy. But why wasn't the supervisor like crazy? Because he seemed normal the whole entire time. So I have no idea what's happening there. And then after that, Ramiro told all of the ogres, I guess, my mind is just having all this information on the series. It loses and it stays there. At least I still remember some of the characters' names. So then we saw how he told all the ogres that they could leave if they wanted to. I know that they aren't ogres, but I'm just gonna call them that. He told them that they could leave now since they did their debt of staying with Ramiro until they defeated the Orc Disaster. But then they told Ramiro that they would stay with him for the rest of their lives. Which he's like, "You're sure? You guys are sure?" And then we saw how Shion put her boobs on Ramiro's head. Like, damn, man. Like from last episode and this episode, I can sincerely tell that they definitely grew. They definitely grew from when she was an ogre. So then after that, I guess the episode just ended with them just going off, with them just saying that they would follow him forever. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure that's how it ended. Yeah, that's how it ended, with them just saying that they would stay with him forever. So I guess in the next episode they showed the title card. They called it the Great Alliance, which is, did that happen after this? Because I remember a lot. I guess next episode's gonna be pretty cool. Yeah, I remember this. This happened in Volume 6. Yeah, this is gonna be a pretty funny and cool episode. A few episodes, especially when we get to episodes like 22 and 23. That stuff is gonna be pretty funny. Especially, yeah, all that stuff is gonna be pretty funny. Just slice of life stuff until the next arc happens. Which, like I said before, they're probably gonna end on a cliffhanger. Like I can just tell that that's gonna happen. But based on this series getting popular, it's still pretty popular. It might have died down a little bit, but because of it going on break and stuff like that. But I hope it's still relevant. But yeah, thoughts about this episode. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really cool. I can't wait until next week until we see the next episode. Yeah, if you enjoyed my review slash thoughts slash discussion on this episode, then leave a like. If you didn't enjoy this at all, then leave a dislike. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video. And bye. See you next week.